Welcome to Just Beachy with Deb
and Wendy.
Growing up in the 70s in our Toronto Beach neighborhood was a time unlike any other. Bell-bottom pants, high handlebars and banana seats, water buffalo sandals, crazy adventures, and home with the streetlights. We have lots of stories to share.
So sit back and join us as we reminisce about the people and the times that shaped our lives. Happy New Year to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy New Year to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy New Year from Just Beachy with Wendy and Deb and Wendy. Happy New Year to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
And many more.
Jazz hands.
Yeah, jazz hands.
Well, hello everybody. We are back.
It took some effort, but yes, thanks to Deb, we are back to recording. Not that we don't mind doing the lives, but we thought we should get back to kind of what we've been doing in the past.
It was stuck on live. We had to call in Maynard for support.
Yeah. And as much as we know you love seeing us, we just thought, it's nice to do it this way too. Yeah. And then we're not live and we're not feeling under pressure. But I have to share this little message that just came into me because I am on TikTok and I post various things, not like a daily thing like a lot of people do, but every once in a while when the moment strikes me. When I just received a comment on a post from Remembrance Day that I did, which is quite a solemn event. But anyways, this gentleman sent me a message saying, "Hello, beautiful. Do you mind if I tie your shoes? Because I don't want you falling for anyone else." What the hell? I want to put a laughing face, but I don't want to also
don't encourage that.
Communicate with this person, right? It's just like, oh my God.
That person?
Oh.
Block him.
Oh my God.
On Facebook, often you get, the doctor or the recently widowed person with a young child or a dog, kind of, and they've only got like 2 photos of themselves and they started the account yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and when this came in, I related this to Deb before we started recording, but it brought me back to a memory of, I must have been 16 or 17 and down watching a varsity football game for the University of Toronto, I think, or whatever. I don't know if they're varsity or what, but I was with a couple of girlfriends and we were walking along near Queen's Park, I think. And a guy comes up to me and asked me if I want to go in half on a baby. And I didn't know what it meant. Like I was really naive in my teens.
We really were.
I think I kind of went, no, because thanks for asking.
No, not today, thanks.
Oh my gosh. Oh, but here we are.
Times.
Oh my God. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year. It's hard to believe we're now into 2025.
2025. Good Lord.
I know. I'm not sure where last year went, and I hope this year doesn't go as fast because, I think the older we become, maybe the years go by a little faster. I'm not sure.
They really do. And at midnight, I did the sweeping the bad stuff out of the house, called on the angels, got everything in a big pile and knocked it out the door.
Yep.
So, yep. And then we blew in cinnamon.
Yes. I opened up my front door, which is an apartment door. So I stepped out, walked back in and blew cinnamon in because that's supposed to be abundance. And then this year I was extra superstitious. Oh, no?
No, I had to just sort of sprinkle it because the dog was waiting.
Oh, I think one of my dogs ended up sneezing because I did blow it into the air.
Didn't want to do that.
But yeah, I was extra superstitious this year. And I'm not sure why, because I guess TikTok has brought out a lot of the things that you didn't even realize, like eating 12 grapes at midnight. And you have to eat them within the first stroke minute of midnight and make a wish on each grape because it's for each month of the year.
Never heard of that before.
Well, I saw that on a Modern Family episode. with Gloria, and she
Oh,
had to
yeah.
get her grapes by
Right.
midnight, right? That was a big thing. But the other one was you don't do laundry on New Year's Eve or day because you'll wash away your good luck.
Oh, right.
So I didn't. It was a good excuse not to do it anyways.
Oh,
So I didn't.
yeah. I guess it depends on what part of the world you're from. You
Yeah.
know, we're kind of boring in this part. We inherit traditions, I guess.
If you have any that you can remember from your family, like post them on the site, on the Facebook
Yeah,
page too.
but we didn't have any traditions at New Year's. I mean,
No.
we would back in the day we'd be watching probably Dick Clark, but I
I
remember
would
Guy
think,
Lombardo.
yeah, Guy Lombardo was a big thing in my
Yeah,
grandparents and our grandparents' house.
that's right.
Yeah. And,
We
but I
did
can
that.
remember, not that mom and dad had a lot of parties, but I can remember one New Year's Eve, there was a bunch of neighbors over and it was getting close to midnight. And my older brother and we went upstairs and locked ourselves in the bathroom so we wouldn't have to kiss anyone or no one would kiss us.
At New Year's.
Yeah. So they're like, no, we're out of here. And then I think maybe we came back down when we knew it would be safe to come back down.
All that kissing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Dad was still with us at that point. So, but
Yeah,
yeah.
the neighbors would come in. I think our house was like the central point. A lot of people would come over,
Yeah.
like from either side of us, and bring their own beer or booze
Yeah.
or whatever. And
Because I
it
don't
was always
remember,
good.
I don't remember, God, I can't even talk tonight. I don't remember Mom ever like preparing for a party,
No,
like getting out
no,
party food or anything like that.
no. We're going shopping. Oh, it's going to have a special thing.
Yeah.
No,
No.
everybody just brought stuff.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
It's the thing
Yeah,
to do. Yeah.
we always had stuff to eat, and I remember going around the neighborhood at midnight. Maybe I don't know if we went to just wish people a Happy New Year, but we had pots and pans. I know we did that.
Mm-hmm.
Made a lot of noise at New Year.
Yeah. We'd go
But
down the veranda.
yeah, yeah, and yell and scream at the top of our lungs.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the people around us were in our house. So,
Yeah, so yeah, it didn't matter. Man.
yeah, it's very. It wasn't even a wild party. It was just they might play cards.
Yeah.
Around the kitchen table, and the kids would kind of do their thing.
Also talking before we got on this, like just all the craziness in the world right now, that it's really sad and
Yeah, the first couple
disheartening
of days
and
of 2025. God.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I spent today, my daughter was working all day, so I kind of had all day to kind of putter around here and put away the last of the Christmas decorations. I got a few things out. But I was, I don't know, just thinking about the past and that, and then just started thinking about the joyous Christmas mornings we had, and kind of hearkening back to those days and getting that quilted house coat and that buttoned up and your fuzzy slippers, right? And we had our parents up like at 5:30 in the morning, right? Yeah. And I think by 10 o'clock, the kids, were ready to go back to bed. So I can remember changing like into my new flannel pajamas, putting on the house coat, crawling under the covers and like sleeping for a few hours.
Yeah, I think we all went back to bed after that because the turkey we had to cook for at least another 8 hours. Yeah. So, yeah, and Grandma and Grampy stayed. They didn't go back home.
No.
I don't remember them napping. Like
no.
Passing out on the couch or... I don't remember.
No, I think they just kind of kept going all day. I don't know what we did all day.
I can't remember.
I don't even remember eating like breakfast or anything. It was just like...
No, I think Grandma would say, well, we should probably make something to eat because they were hungry.
Yeah.
They've been up since like the crack of dawn.
Yeah.
Before, getting
3 coffees in,
presents. Yeah,
pack of smokes in.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I went to my daughter's. She has a little place west of here, and she has a VHS player. So I took it was Saturday. I went. Yeah. Took our home movies, right. And it was just so surreal to see because most of it were Christmases, and Christmases at Graham's house.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's one when we're all together, like you and, your ex, and only Simon at that point because Nick wasn't around yet. Our brother and his girlfriend, my older brother and his wife, like we were all there, all the kids. But what got me, I see pictures of Graham all the time,
Yeah.
but to see her and talking, like
Yeah.
it hit me. It was like,
Yeah.
and I kind of had, this will sound awful, I had that same sort of reaction with seeing our mom, but there was something more about Graham that it just hit me.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because of the time of year and the joy that she brought. And it was really interesting because we used to just watch it, right? Like, "Oh, look at us, look, everybody." But watching Graham watch us in these home movies.
Oh, a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to get them put onto a DVD.
Yeah. But it was so nice to see, especially since it is Christmas time. And, and this would have been in the 80s. And I had only 3 kids at that point. Kirsty wasn't around yet because she came around in the 90s. But yeah, I mean, all the grandkids that were there, like from Amy down to Simon,
Yeah.
and so there were 5 kids.
Well, Simon was born in 87.
Right.
So it would have been later part of the 80s.
Yeah. So there was, my 3, Arthur's son, and then Simon was there, and then us 4 grandkids, not, not the great grandkids, but the 4 grandkids, and Mom and Clyde and Graham. It was a house full.
Were there pictures of us having dinner and things like that?
No, it was more opening up the Christmas gifts and watching the kids. Like the favorite one is my son's opening up this box. My mom brought all these gift boxes for the kids of homemade sweaters, like beautiful gifts that year, all homemade and that. And Andrew's opening up his, and he looks in, and then he looks at the camera and goes, "I don't get no toys." Didn't matter all the beautiful things that were elsewhere in that thing, but he didn't get toys, and he just kind of threw things over his shoulder. It was such a America's Funniest Home Video moment, right?
Yeah, really. I got a rock.
Yeah. But it was really nice to see, but really made me at the same time really miss people even more, right? Because of the time of year.
This has been a hard year for a lot of people because we had a big loss this year.
Yes.
And the number of people who I was talking to who've lost loved ones just in the last month or so. I mean, it was hard in lots of ways. Plus the COVID thing still going, and people were getting sick, and plans were being changed. And we just had a very quiet Christmas. And of course, I watched Wicked 4 times, but, in the theater 3 times, and then I got it to watch. And that's what I did New Year's Eve. The boys were heading up to Welland. Simon was DJing, and Nick went along and as the photographer, and I think they got in sometime about 4. They had a good time. But I watched Wicked, and I had my Wicked blanket that Wendy gave me, my little blanket. And last time we were at the theater, I got a Wicked bucket of popcorn, yeah, which was heaping, and I was sprinkling it everywhere. But yeah, I just had a very quiet night, and it was good. It was different. I don't think I've had a New Year's alone in decades.
Well, even Christmas was different here this year. Because normally I have a crowd over Christmas morning, and we open gifts, and I make the wife savers, which I never did post. But you can make it any time of year. It doesn't have to be Christmas. But because I wanted to see my husband Bruce, because I think maybe I haven't mentioned, but like he's in Sunnybrook Veterans Center due to his MS. He's been there for 5 years now. So, but this Christmas, I really felt it was important to go there Christmas Day. So those that could came over Christmas Eve. So when I woke up Christmas morning, it was just my youngest daughter and I, and it was weird.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that excitement or, getting up at 6 so the wife savers can go in at 7 because it takes a good hour and a half to 2 hours to cook, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, although I did make it for Christmas Eve. So those that came Christmas Eve got the wife savers on Christmas Eve because it's not Christmas until you smell that wife savers cooking.
There's a tradition. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and New Year's has never been a big thing for me, even as a teenager or in all my married life. Like, Chinese food is kind of the order of the night. And then if we made it to midnight, then it's a good night, but not
Well,
always.
back in the day, in the teens, there wasn't a New Year's Eve that went by that the whole gang of us didn't get together somewhere. Either, we had a friend who lived, where did she live, on Balsam? No, Beach. No, I don't know. Somewhere along Spruce Hill, somewhere along there. And we would just party in her basement. And that's when I heard Divine Miss M's album for the very first time and fell in love with Bette Midler in all of her glory. But we had the best parties, and I think sometimes we might have gone downtown. I might be wrong, but it was all the same group. We just, the high school group, best friends, mixed group. Some were dating, some weren't. We just sort of hung out and had fun and got home. But I remember being home a lot just after midnight to wish everybody happy New Year's, depending on where we were. But, lots of music, lots of, we'd all bring something to munch on, could share the snacks. And we had a ball. Probably, God, I can't even remember, maybe 20 of us, maybe less. But every year the complexion changed, but the core group was there. We had so much fun.
Yeah, maybe just my age group, we didn't do anything because I really don't recall ever going out or doing anything. Probably just sitting in either at home with Mom or at Graham's watching Guy Lombardo.
Well, in the early years, before I could go out with friends, yeah, that was the thing. I don't know when it switched over that I could go out with friends, but it was fun.
Maybe when you moved out.
No, I was 24.
Oh,
so
were you that old when you left?
I was old. I was really old when I got my little apartment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was 24. And even at that, Mom was very upset. She kind of hung onto my leg as I was leaving.
And you're what, like just that ward in Kingston Road, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to walk home all the time.
And then someone was talking about how now, I guess, was it you even, about watching Channel 11, CHCH?
Yeah.
And then you can't, so, as soon as you say CHCH TV 11, then what comes up to your mind? Sunday afternoons with Bill Lawrence. Tiny Talent Time. I always wanted to be on that show so bad, but I don't know what I would have done.
You were like Lucy. I want to be in the show.
I have no idea what I would have done, though. I had no talent.
You would have sang. I would have played the guitar and you would have sang. But,
I can remember things that...
He looked a lot like Dad.
Yeah, and he was just so sweet with all those kids, right? Like...
Yeah.
The tap dancers and the whole thing.
The baton twirlers. The polka dancer. Yeah. There's all kinds of
accordion players.
Accordion players, yes, of course.
Oh, man. Yeah, simple times for sure. Oh, my gosh. But it's so funny. I know we've talked about the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family, but some of the clips that have been coming up on my feed for the Brady Bunch, like, it must have just been in the States. It never made it to the Canadian airwaves, some of these shows. But one came up the other day with Donnie and Marie and the Osmond dancing with Greg and Marcia. Like, it was so weird.
They had, I don't remember them having their variety show at night. Maybe we just didn't watch it, but it was horrible. It was really bad.
Yeah. I do remember the Brady Brides when Jan and Marcia got married, and that didn't last even a season, that series, but I think they did a lot of stuff that just never made it to Canada. I think they just kind of kept trying to play off their fame, and it kind of petered out over time.
Well, people grew up.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Their audience got older, and I'm sure, it didn't have the same interest for people.
No, probably not. That's very true.
Same with the Partridge Family. Like that whole grouping, the Partridge Family and Brady Bunch, and there were the Monkees. There were a lot of really crazy shows that when you hit a certain point of your life, you look at it and think, yeah, well, I'm done. I don't don't need that in my life now, but thank you for seeing me through to my 16th year or something. I don't know.
Well, I can
But
remember
yeah.
buying a Monkees album. I think they were still referred to as the Monkees, but it's after Michael Nesmith left them.
Mm.
And it was an album, so it was just the three of them. And it was nothing like their sweet pop songs or whatever. It was really bizarre. I bought it at a record store on Kingston Road near Victoria Park. But as soon as I saw Davy Jones, it's like, oh my God, I have to buy this, right? But it was a weird album.
They were, yeah. They were manufactured, those guys. They didn't come together naturally as friends.
No.
They kind of, so I guess, I don't know how that would be, because they had such fame. I mean, the Beatles knew each other. They grew organically. But the Monkees were like, yeah, you'll do as the guitar player. Yeah, we like you. You play drums. You
have an accent. You're in the group.
Yeah. You're kind of cute. You come along.
Yeah.
Because some of they were just stupid. When you look back they had a couple of movies or even their show.
Yeah.
I mean, the show there was no plot. It was always stupid.
No.
And we loved it. We laughed it up.
And wasn't there a girl that fell in love with Davy Jones every episode? That he'd fall in love with someone and you get the twinkle in his eye type of thing. Yeah, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, we watched it. I mean, it was part of our repertoire back then.
There's a lot of stuff coming up in my feed since we've been doing this, like algorithm-wise. Like, I think you posted the other day all the big hits of the 70s.
Yeah, that's been coming up. Crazy.
And just these weird, like, Cher singing with Christy McNichol the other day. I mean, and I wish I wanted to save it. I was going to post it to the group. Captain and Tennille, whom I loved, and they had a Christmas special, and all of these weird people were on it with them, and it was a Christmas show, and they're starting out with a Mexican or a Spanish number with maracas, and Tennille was singing like she had an accent, Mexican. I'm like, this is too weird. And when I tried to save it, I guess I went out of the screen and lost it.
Oh, I hate it when I do that.
But the guests, I'm sure it would have gone into the guests.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like Glenn Campbell or somebody. It was like Glenn Campbell's coming up a lot now for me.
Yeah, well, because I sent to you like Roy Clark from Hee Haw.
Oh, yeah.
Which Graham and Grampy, I think Mom and Dad liked watching Hee Haw too. I never appreciated watching it. It was just like a boring show because it's an adult show. But on my feed, I'm getting Roy Clark playing the guitar. He's man was amazing.
Yeah.
It was like, holy crap. And then there was another one, I don't think I sent it to you, that he was playing classical gas with Glenn Campbell.
They did that a lot together, and they had Mason Williams on the show. I mean, Hee Haw Dad loved it because it was all country, right?
Right, yeah.
And it was all hokey, and the one with the guy spit on the other person. You let another.
You were gone.
Yeah. And they would get up these great big Hollywood stars, and the guy would end up spitting on him.
Yeah, can you imagine that now in the age of COVID?
No. Well, it probably wasn't all that great back then either.
No. Oh my God. Oh, that was great. Yeah. And speaking of Dad, yeah, if you can believe, and not to bring the party down, but 54 years this Sunday he passed. And it's crazy to think, like 54 years.
54 years, I know.
It's nuts. And so we honor him tonight by talking about Hee Haw. And
He loved it.
Lynn Anderson, Rose Garden, was one of his favorite songs. That I guess it had just come out before he passed on. So I have a few of those songs in my iTunes. And I think it was every father at that age, because I think Bruce's dad loved Herb Albert and the Tijuana Brass too.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
when they got the hi-fi, the big furniture hi-fi, took up half the room.
You could put like 7 records on, and it would drop them down. Yeah,
but it had a radio. It had the turntable. It had really big speakers in the front as part of the furniture, but it also had a space. It came with records, but one of the first albums they got was Herb Albert that she wanted to
Whipped Cream, right?
Yeah,
I can see the album cover. It's this chick standing there with like a whipped cream bowl or gown on or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
Just because you mentioned that stereo and the records that came with it, do you remember? And this is totally nothing to do with anything, just because it's popped into my head. You had to do that assignment for Miss Mogan, my favorite English teacher, and you had to do a tape, and you picked the music from some of those albums, and you put a story to it, and I think I was the heroine in it. Like I did her voice. Do you remember doing
yeah,
that?
there was some classical music. We had to do Kathy Ralston and I, except I kind of did it. Sorry, Kathy, but we were supposed to do a radio play.
That's
And
it.
That's what it was. So we introduced it, and she was Pat on the back, and I was another crazy name. And we just presented it. We had to introduce it and present it, and it had the heroine and the I think there was train tracks involved. I mean, it was very stereotypical damsel in the distress stuff. But I remember we taped it, and we really worked at it too.
Yeah, I can remember sitting in the front room and being part of that. That was great. That was crazy,
and
man.
And we did Mad magazine commercials. Remember that?
Maybe.
The laundry soap doesn't do a darn thing. So there.
I do remember that. Oh my God.
Friends, Judy, you have children that have grass stains on your knees. Oh, is it hard to get it out? Well, we've got a product for you. I mean, we did the whole commercial. And in the background, doesn't do a darn thing. You won't. And it was like a whole list of what it doesn't do. Well, it won't get the grass stains out. It won't do this. It won't do that. But it's a very pretty smelling product. It was very good.
Oh man.
Was fun. We played it. I laughed all the way through it. And Kathy, who had not heard it before.
Oh,
she did the intro. She wrote the intro. We used to do a lot of things together back in grade 7 and 8. We remember Laugh-In had the old man and the old lady.
Yes, Ruth Buzzy and Artie
Johnson.
Thank you.
We had to do. I want to say it was like sex education back then, or we had to do a little skit on something or other. But we played those characters. And we present, it was like a PSA for, be good or something. And I kept getting, she was Ruth Buzzy and I was the old man. And she kept hitting me with her purse really hard. I remember that. We did a lot of things. We wrote songs. We were like vaudeville. That's how old we are. Her dad was an advertising executive.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, it was like going to Bewitched. It was like, Darren Stevens, when he was home.
And they have a beautiful house down in Glen Manor, right?
Oh, beautiful house. And really lovely parents, just awesome parents. And very welcoming. And it was, he'd have all kinds of ideas for us. And she would put on Ethel Merman and start singing. She did Annie. Remember
yes,
she did Annie. Get your gun?
Yes.
Yeah. She had a very strong voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really good voice. We sang a lot.
Yeah.
Then she discovered boys, but that was okay. That was...
Well, I know I mentioned it in a previous podcast that I can remember her giving me her clothes, like garbage bagfuls of clothes, right. And they were such nice clothes, like they were hip, right? Yeah. Not my Bargain Heralds.
Yeah.
Although Bargain Heralds, I did well by Bargain Herald, so I'm not slamming them.
Hi, karate. Well, we have been at this for a bit.
Yes, we have. See what happens when we're not live? We just go on and on and on. Get lost in our thoughts. Yeah.
That's right. Remember the time.
Yeah. Well, it's been so long since we've kind of sat down and have done this, and we weren't very focused, but it's okay. We don't need to be focused. We're here just to kind of lighten your day and hope we bring, make you think back that like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that. But we'll get back on track and start doing this weekly again. And as always, if there's anything you'd like us to bring up, or if you would like to be a guest, because we can bring you in and it doesn't have to be live, we can just bring you in to talk, right? You don't even to. You don't have to be on camera, just in the studio as we look at you.
Have you got something to sing us out?
Actually, no, not today.
Oh. Well, thank you for listening to whatever this was.
Just BG with Deb and Wendy. See you next week, or talk to you next week. Take care.
We will. Okay, bye.
Bye.